All right, across this year, you're going to learn about 5 very important court cases, Supreme Court cases, that you must memorize all the details to these 5, okay? I call them the big 5 court cases. You will learn about many more cases than that, but there's only 5 that are really require you to know for the whole year. This is the first one. 1896, it's Plessy versus Ferguson, okay? So, what's going on here, y'all, is there was a Jim Crow system set up in the South. I mean, schools are segregated, hospitals are segregated, housing is segregated, railroad carts are separated, okay, right, they're segregated. So, the NAACP, which is the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, okay, they need a court case. You see, you can't get the Supreme Court to just declare a law illegal. They have to have a court case to go to them first. So somebody has to break the law, get arrested, and then appeal to the Supreme Court. And that's exactly what Homer Plessy did in 1896. The NAACP offered to pay for his jail fees and all of his bonds and all this stuff like that, his bail, his lawyer, if he would just simply get arrested for the cause of ending segregation. They want to challenge the Jim Crow laws. Homer Plessy, okay, this guy right here, take a look at him. What color is he? What would you think? Probably think he's white, right? They chose him on purpose because he looked white. But Homer Plessy in the state of Louisiana was classified as an octoroon. Octoroon, octo means 8, okay? He was 1/8 black, and therefore he was legally the smallest amount of black that you could be and still be considered black, okay? So Homer Plessy boards a train in Louisiana, and he's sitting there for the ride. Nobody's saying anything. They all think he's white. He's boarding a whites-only train car, okay? And about halfway through the ride, he stands up and says, "Hey guys, guess what? I'm black," okay? So at the next station, whenever they stop the train, he gets a nice new shiny pair of handcuffs, okay? So some nice bracelets there. And they take him to jail. They charge him with breaking the Jim Crow laws, okay? So the court case goes through, and it goes through a bunch of different courts and goes higher and higher as the NAACP appeals the court case. Now, unfortunately, this court case that was meant to end the Jim Crow laws completely backfired on the NAACP and set civil rights back because the Supreme Court said something that totally goes against logic here. So the court's ruling, and this is what you need to remember about Plessy versus Ferguson, is that separate but equal facilities are legal so long as the facilities are actually equal. So the black people say, the Supreme Court say, do the black people have a train to ride? Yes. Do the white people have a train to ride? Yes. Well, then it's equal, okay? Never mind the fact that the white trains in many cases had leather chairs, they had a bathroom, they had running water, whereas the black people in these train cars and their train cars usually had wooden benches with no backs to sit on and a hole in the floor for the bathroom. And you would literally have to stand over the hole and do your business, and it would just drop on the tracks below, okay? So the court ruled that separate rail cars didn't violate the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause because it did not infer that black people were inferior and separated races as public policy. They said that they were going to separate the races to avoid conflict. That was their excuse. It didn't provide facilities of different quality. Yes, it did. The Supreme Court legalized Jim Crow by stating that separate but equal was legal. So they were trying to end the Jim Crow laws. What the Supreme Court did by saying separate but equal is legal is they legitimized the idea of Jim Crow laws. It actually backfired in a huge way, okay? So after Plessy versus Ferguson, Jim Crow laws went from something that was rare, and it became widespread throughout the South for the next 60 years, okay? So instead of doing away with Jim Crow, it made Jim Crow laws spike, okay, all throughout the South. So some examples of that, okay? We have blacks only water fountains here, okay? And this is actually a pretty nice one. That's a cooler, you know? A lot of times it was a hose, okay, that said colored on top of it. Whereas the white people typically had, you know, an actual water fountain. It got so bad with the restaurants were separated. They even had different staircases, y'all. They had white staircases and black staircases. They had white pools and black pools. And I bet you can guess which pool was nicer, okay? So, all right, I'm gonna stop it there.